Well, I guess it's a little bit on the late night right now. This is Russell Mays with my podcast going on. You can also pick up my book, Fear Profits You Nothing, on Amazon. I think you'll like it. I hope you do. It shows a lot of things that people are afraid of in our society and allowing that fear to keep control of you from achieving the things you want in life. Oh, Lord, I tell you, there's so many different topics that I wanted to talk about today. Many, 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 many topics. But the government is one of the main topics. Is the government our friend or are they our foe? That's the real question. Are they really here to help us or are they our enemy? You get a lot of people from the socialist side of the governmental works, like the Bernie Sanders socialists and the Democrat socialists. And a lot of them hate this country and what it does. But yet, on the same note, they wouldn't be able to do what they're doing if it wasn't a free capitalistic society. They would probably be ending up in the trash heap real fast. Look what happened in China with all the doctors trying to help the world. They ended up in the trash. All I know is our government friend or foe? And the answer to that, in my point of view, is what Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer did with this stimulus bill, as they're calling it. $2 trillion, and they wouldn't allow it to pass unless they got all their little tweaks and money for people that don't deserve it, money for countries, other countries that don't deserve it, and funding to kill more people other than the virus. They just want pure control. They couldn't get anything done. So now that it's a ransack, we got to get something done for the people because they're screaming. They stuck all this stuff into that bill. And that tells me right there our government does not care about the American people. No government in this world cares about their people. The only time they really care about their people is when it becomes prominent that it will threaten their jobs. I mean, they had to literally shut down Italy. And did they really have to do that? You know, it's this coronavirus. I do think the virus is real. I don't know if it is as contagious as they're making it out to be. I don't know if it is as deadly as they're making it out to be. But that's the whole question right there. How come the news reporters aren't going into the hospitals and taking pictures of all this stuff? They're not reporting the news, they're just spewing out what the health department wants you to hear. Then the health department got a huge chunk of this money. Huge amount of money. And then the money is being hoarded. Unbelievably being hoarded. The stuff they need, ventilators and masks and gloves and gowns for the people to protect themselves, are being stored in case it really hits its peak of importance. Well, who makes that decision? My God, there's the horror stories are starting to come out of what these people are doing, hoarding this stuff when they're trying to get people to be helping people. And everyone says, "Oh, it's the companies, the corporations. They're the evil ones." Well, are they? Companies and corporations are nothing but people. There's somebody in these organizations making the call whether to help people or hurt people. Simple as that. They look at a bottom line on a book and it says, well, if we do this, we could lose money. That's why Trump had to do that. I don't think he should have, but that's my opinion. Forced General Motors to start making respirators. Why? Okay. I don't even know the numbers anymore. 100,000 infected, 50,000 infected or contained. How many people got healed? Do they all have that infection now? Or all of them are healed? Or all of those people, are they just roaming around spreading it? After 2 weeks of being quarantined, then you're good to walk around and do whatever you want to. What do? They swab and say, okay, now you're not infectious anymore. Have a nice day. Well, what did you do to heal them? Nothing. So if that's all it takes to heal them, why all this rigmarole? There's too many questions dealing with this. There's anytime you have a news organization and a government bureaucracy on the news 24/7, every day, 7 days a week, pumping fear into the public, there's something up. There's something coming down the pike, as you call it. They're doing something. I'm not sure what it is. And it's working, whatever they're trying to do about fear. And I'll tell you exactly what I mean by that. I went into a pharmacy today, and because my refrigerator died, so I had to go get an ice cooler and some ice. Throw the stuff into until it's cool. So now that's what I'm dealing with on my tragic quarantining. Ooh. So I go in and I get the ice, pay for it. And I got one of those little carts with the ice in it because, 6 bags of ice is pretty heavy and cold. So I'm wheeling it out through the door. And this actually happened. I'm wheeling it out through the door, and in comes a lady, a little bit older lady, 45, 50, 50-ish. And she's pushing a little cart too, but she's hand sanitizing the whole thing with a wet nap, just going all over. And she sees me, and she shoves her cart past me in through the door and puts her arms up in front of her face like a cross, like I was Dracula or something. And she started waving her arms, going, "Oh my God, and no, don't get near her." And she was, and it wasn't a joke. She was honest to God afraid of me to get within 6 feet of her. And you talk about, I didn't know whether to be laughing my ass off or feel sorry for her or bringing up the total fear that woman had to, buy into. She really, honest to God, thought if she got within distance that she would get infected and die. So I got to thinking about that. Why would the government do that to people? Why would a government, and I don't mean just the United States government and the healthcare people and all the rest of them, I'm talking about all the countries, why would they want to install such fear into the population of people not wanting to even be within distance of each other? When that lady ran away screaming from me, just because I'm going out a door and she was coming in a door, just blew my mind. I was just dumbfounded how anybody could buy into a fear being perpetrated by the news so much that you would actually run screaming. Maybe I'm just that ugly. I don't know. Run screaming from another person with their arms in the air and running out back out to the parking lot. How in the hell can she even buy her grocery stores? So why would the government even want to do that to people? What are they talking about? What are they doing? Why isn't anybody questioning the fact? People and the news media constantly bombarded the Trump administration with Russia and Kavanaugh and impeachment and sexual allocations or innuendos or accusations. Constantly they bombarded him. Then they realized they couldn't get him, so they started bombarding the people. They made the people scared of him, then they would not vote for him and put stupid Biden in. Now, the question is, why would they do that? Why would they implement a virus fear to create such chaos? How can they convince people? This is the thing that got me. How can they convince people to be, what do they call it, distance concern, keep your distance 6 feet away. Ooh, give people their space. Ooh. I mean, it's dumb. And the reason why I call it dumb is because they're already infected if they have it. They had it for 2 to 3 weeks before any of this kicked into gear. So if that's true, what they were saying, that you can't tell if somebody has it or not have it, they might have a mild form and won't even know they have it. And so how do you even tell what to do? Everybody has it, so why shut down the country? It's crazy. This is total madness. Unbelievable madness. People are going to start freaking out. Maybe that's their end goal. If people start freaking out, they're going to bring the military in and make it martial law. They're gearing up for it now. That's even been mentioned a couple of times in the news. Well, we can utilize this, and even have the military help. If you bring the military in and they tell you that it is for helping out, setting up hospitals, no, it's not. That might be, if this thing blows over, the whole issue of the military. What they're doing is positioning the military in place. Once it's in place, it's there if it is needed. Think about that, folks. They've already got this planned out through. They already know what they're going to do is if this turns ugly. That's the thing. It's not just going to be a willy-nilly thing. They have sat there in their war rooms and sketched this whole thing out. They took a look at China. They took a look at Italy. They took a look at Spain and Russia and United Kingdom and all the rest of them. And everyone says, why don't you do what they do all the time? Now, well, that's probably what they're going to do. They're going to shut everything down. And then the economy will collapse. And if it does collapse, you think chaos is going on now? You have another thing coming, honey. It's going to be nuts. These people will go off the deep end. If they don't take care of the business now, this government is going to be positioning the military to help build the hospitals and positioning them in place. That's how you do that. You position them, you get them there under the goodness factor and say, okay, in case things go crazy and nuts, which the left wants this place, the entire country and the entire world to go nuts. So is the government our friend or foe? Are they doing it? Are they really, really trying to stop this thing? Or are they just making people fearful? Oh, that's no doubt about that. I do believe I don't know for sure. Okay. They do know one thing they are finding out though. By doing this, they do have population control right now. They finally figured out how to control the people. They're learning this now. But as I was saying earlier, they were sitting in a war room and they've got this all planned out. They are not stupid people. They, as in the military, the health organizations, they got a big bunch of this money coming now. They're all happy because they got all their money now. And Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and the rest of them got all their little funding too. And now they're going to be asking for more. They are going to take and run this as far out as they possibly can. You can't tell me when you have good potential, what words am I looking for? Not diagnosis, but medicines like the malaria drug, stuff that actually works, as they say, and stifle that. And then turn around and say, well, it's going to take us a year to get a vaccine for this. But yet they're not telling us anything. All they're doing is telling us to wash your hands, stay indoors, and don't go anywhere. That has got to be the most insane thing people will buy into. Why would they do that? Oh, I do believe, yeah, I'm just looking what the Den of the Unknown is saying that China knew about. Oh, yeah, I do believe China did know about it. And I do believe it's a offshoot of the SARS, which they're talking about too. But the thing is, China, you got to understand what communism is. Communism is nobody else cares, or they don't care about anybody else, so they're going to take care of their own until it actually got out of the world and they didn't try to stop it. They didn't give a crap. So now it's out there. Now they're getting blamed. So they're backpedaling and blaming on the United States. Oh, it's some kind of a military thing or whatever it is. When it comes to communism, it's always military. So be aware. My thing is they've got 25% of the population here in the United States so scared. And when I saw that lady run today, because she got within 5 feet of me, and again, I made a joke about it. Oh, it might be because I'm ugly. No, she really did fear the virus. How can anybody be that fearful of something that you don't know exists? You don't know, is it real or isn't it real? Is it as contagious as they say it is? Is there no cure for it? How can it be so rampant so fast? All of these questions are not being answered. All you hear on the news is we're working on it. We need more beds. We need more ventilators. We need more masks. We need more gloves. Nobody's talking about we need to cure the issue. We need to solve the problem. when somebody comes out and says, hey, this might work, they'll bury it fast because they want this issue to carry on through the elections. I do believe I heard today that New York City just pushed off, or New York State pushed off their primaries. Interesting, isn't that? So if they don't have an election, what are they trying to do? They know Biden's not going to win. They know Trump is. Even now, Trump's numbers are really high. It's just absolutely amazing. Let's see what else it says. Filthy for years and causes pollution. Oh, okay. I see where you're going with this. Yeah, ever since they put Italy #1 down, the water turned blue, and dolphins have been seen in their waterways again. Oh, okay. That to me is getting into the area of pollution and climate change and stuff like that. I personally do not think it has any effect on what's going on with the virus. They already realized climate change is a red herring, but they were using climate change to get all their money and push an agenda, and it wasn't working because people weren't buying the science. Don't misconstrue climate change with pollution. Pollution is when people dump garbage in their own yard. I mean, China and India are the biggest polluters out there, and nobody talks to them about it at all. But I'm getting off on a tangent over here. With the virus, India just started getting cases or reporting cases. They're so polluted, and they have 1.6 billion people in that country. And the country isn't much more than size of Texas, from my gathering, if my geology or geometry or geography is correct. And they didn't have an issue with it until just recently. Russia's not reporting anything, but then again, Russia's a communist country. So the question is this real or is this not real? And I don't mean the virus. I mean the pandemic that they're scaring the living crap out of people for. The government is using this to achieve an agenda. And I do not know what their agenda is. If anybody's ever read Sun Tzu's Art of War, it's a very good book. The thing about it is there's a statement in there, I think it's chapter 8 in it, and it always states all wars are won before they're ever fought. So if our government is calling this a war, that means they have planned it out and how it's going to results in the end, when it's going to end, how it's going to end. One thing I do believe, though, is Trump is trying to get this to end soon. But he's got so many people against him that want the money that's being doled out now. And when you start laying politicians' hands with money, they don't care about anything, because if they truly cared about the people in this country, they wouldn't have stuck in all this extra, airplanes got to have a better fuel efficiency in there if they really truly cared about the people. That's the thing about it. Then if they truly cared about the people, they would have instituted this right away, and they should have been passed right now and in the system. And all the other people up there that are greasing their palms are getting their money right away, and they're talking about the American people is going to take them 3 to 4 weeks to get their checks. Well, if that's true, then what are you going to do? Are they truly caring about the people? Nah, I don't believe Trump is a plague. Nah, Trump is the solution. I really do believe Trump is the only one that has the solution to this problem here. But he is surrounded by Obamaites, Bush bites, and Clinton bites. All these people have been sucking off this government and your taxes for a very long time. And it's time to stop. Thank God Trump got in. If Hillary got in here during this stuff, man, we would have been dead. She would have let everybody die in this country, just as long as she had her little hot mama things going on, that kind of stuff. But this is an interesting concept, especially when I'm not going to go on the political side. I want to stay on the coronavirus and what our government is doing, what the other governments are doing. My God, they're pulling people out. I mean, there was a video that was sent to me of the police arresting a lady for some reason. She tested positive and didn't want to go, and they were handcuffing. They were brutalizing her. They were actually throwing her up against the car and smacking her around and stuff. It wasn't here in the United States. It was in another country. But, oh, my God, it's just like unbelievable. Why would they allow such things like that unless the people are fearful? I'm going to take it right back to the time of Hitler and how fear is utilized. Think about this. If you guys are standing in a line next to a huge pit of dead bodies, of people being shot in the back of the head and thrown in the ditch, stepping up one by one by one by one by one, and you're in that line, you have so much fear that you won't even fight back, even though you know you're going to die. That's the kind of fear they're instilling in the people around the world. Why would they want to do that? Why would people buy into that kind of fear? I am totally dumbfounded, but it's part of human nature, though. There's people out there that totally don't believe this virus exists. And then there's people out there that believe that if you just touch a person's doorknob that had the virus, that you're going to die. One thing I do know for a fact, though, the power of the mind will definitely control a lot of things that you do. And they say that the worrying and the fear that they're installing weakens the immune system anyway. So not only are they making you fearful, they're weakening your immune system by that fear. So if you do catch the virus, it's going to have a detrimental effect on you. Don't let the people do that. Don't let that happen. And be cautious. Wash your hands, like they say. Don't stay inside. Ooh. But this keeping the distance from people? Come on. I mean, seriously, you've got a family of 5? How can you keep your distance within the household? How do you know nobody in that household does or does not have the virus? If it is dormant for 2 to 3 weeks and you don't even know you have it, everybody could have it. It's just absolutely amazing that they allow things like this. It's like what I was saying earlier. They're gearing up for a lot more than scaring people. Because if they're bringing the military in to set up these hospitals and help people out and everything else, all they have done was bring the military in and position them in case things get out of hand. Simple as that. There was a huge train load of tanks and equipment come roaring through California 2 days ago. And everyone says, oh my God, it's martial law. And the governor gets on, no, that's just normal troop transportation. We're just taking care of business. Now let's analyze that particular statement when the government comes out and say, no, that's not what it is. Why would you do that during the virus scare when everybody you know would think the exact same thing? Why would you do that? there's not a real major war going on, so there's no need to move all that equipment right away. So why not move it later on when everything's said and done? Why move it through during the day when everybody can see it that has a camera and video? And that's exactly what happened. They turned around and put it on the air. Sorry about that, folks. Sometimes when the sentences get long that you're posting, I got to read it, and I got to learn to talk and read at the same time. Yes, exactly. Yeah, he's talking about the right thing about the Jewish people marching to their deaths in the gas chamber. They knew they were going to die, so why didn't they fight? That's my question. They were filled with fear so much they were willing to take a bullet back to the head and die rather than stand up against tyranny. I'm not saying this virus thing is tyranny. What I am saying, though, is this is on the verge of controlling people, and they're doing a damn good job of it. How could you have all the businesses closed down? What is this? This is crazy. This is absolutely nuts. I don't want to be morbid or anything else, but it doesn't matter if we're quarantined in our homes or not. The virus is out there. It's going to affect. Keeping your distance isn't going to change anything. Because I'm going to be very honest with you. If they turn around and keep us isolated for 12 months in your home, then they say, okay, no more cases. They let everybody out. And if they say is what they say is true, that you can have the virus without knowing it, it can start all over again. They can pull this little rabbit out of their hat every time they want to have scaring the people back into their homes again if things aren't going. One of the biggest factors, and I'm going to tell you, if you really want to know the truth, what's going on here, follow the stock market. Okay, here's a little rule. When the economy is truly in a disastrous situation, the price of gold and silver go through the roof because that is a tangible item that you can take and hoard and keep safe and use it for cash when later on when things are thing. But the stock market has gone down, a good 10,000 points. Gold and silver has not moved at all. The reason why is because everybody that's pulled their money out is just holding it. They know this is not as serious as people think it is because they know they're going to put that money right back into the market again once things drop off again and people start doing a marketing. They're not going to let their money just be sucked away because one shop gets closed down because they have no more money. They're not stupid. They know how this world works. So you watch what happens in the market when this is all done. It's going to go right back to where it was and higher. But I'm going to tell you, people don't look at stuff like that. They look at somebody hoarding toilet paper. Good Lord, why would you do that? It's let's see what we got here. Look at all the CEOs who have resigned from their. That's another good position. Why are they resigning? Do you know if you resign from your position as a CEO, you get paid all your golden parachutes and all your money, and they know there's going to be some serious money making. Look what happened to those politicians that walked out and sold all their stock. Nothing's going to be said to them. They sold their stocks, made millions and millions of dollars because they had inside information on this stuff. That's what's crazy about all this. I don't know. I think the world's gone off the deep end, to be honest with you, and everybody wanted a piece of it. And everyone's saying, oh, no, we need to have a socialist government. Well, you've got a socialist government now because now everybody's going to be sucking at the governmental teat, as they will, because now everybody wants their money. And guess what? There isn't going to be any money left. If they ever do another package like this, $2 trillion, $2 trillion, to pay everybody. How many times do you think the government can do that before the government is totally broke? Think about it. Dimwit Nancy Pelosi has already mentioned it. Oh, she goes, oh, this is just a stimulus package. We have to vote on another one for recovery. What is she talking about? She's already talking about putting another stimulus bill for recovery, pushing another $2 trillion. All because somebody says there's a virus out there and they started doing body counts. Oh, this many dead, this many has it. They don't talk about how many people were cured of it. Because if you dig deep enough into the CDC and stuff like that, when they say there's 97% of the people actually get themselves cured of it, they don't report that. But they say 12% of the population or the who gets it die. But the people that are getting it have issues, complications. There was a gentleman that just died in New York, and they forgot to mention he had the virus, but he didn't get sick from the virus. He had cancer or something like that, something that was and he died of his illness. He just happened to have the virus. The virus had nothing to do with him dying. But no, the media jumped on that with both feet. Man dies of the virus. Oh my God, get the respirators. Get that. I'm telling you, it's getting so far off the deep end, I can't even watch the news anymore. Doesn't matter what station you're on. You turn it on, and all they do is have some idiot. And I'll tell you who's a big idiot. Is that one on that doctor that's on Fox News? Let me think of his name here a minute. He's on there all the time. He's some commentator. But he is so full of fear. And, oh, God, I got to think of his name. I can't believe it slipped my tongue. But he perpetrates fear into it. He goes, oh, yeah, if you do that, you're going to happen here. Drives me up the wall. How can I bash somebody if they're not there? Anyway, all I know is this world is headed to a real problem. And all I know is people, please, please, please don't buy into everything you hear on the news. Don't do it. You want to see what fear is? I do have a book out, and I wrote this book like 8 years ago. It's called Fear Profits You Nothing. And it's downright this here. If you let fear control your life, you're not going to go anywhere. Check it out. Fear Profits You Nothing. It's on Amazon. You can buy it. Go ahead. It's really inexpensive. It's paperback. You'll like it. But it talks about how fear is utilized to control people. Unbelievable. Well, folks, my name is Russell Mays. You're listening to my podcast, Radio Russell it is, and I'll be back again hooting and hollering about something the government is doing once in a while. But I do thank you very much for listening. Do me a follow, put a comment down. Love to hear what you think. Take care now. Bye-bye.